The global industry is oriented towards military actions all over the world. Moreover, every country that participates, that supplies some kind of product to a country at war, for example, some supply products to Russia, others to Ukraine. And these countries make enormous amounts of money. Their industries are primarily focused on military operations. Recent rumors about a possible peace agreement regarding Ukraine have caused defense industry stocks to plummet. Shares of European companies in the defense and aerospace sector came under pressure last week after the German arms manufacturer Rheinmetall published its second quarter results on Thursday. This intensified speculation about a possible peace agreement in the war in Ukraine. What do you think, friends? Is a peace agreement in Ukraine possible or not? The market's reaction showed just how sensitive the defense sector is to political signals. As already mentioned, the trigger for the downward trend for Rheinmetall, whose revenue in the second quarter amounted to 2.43 billion euros, which was below analysts' forecasts. They had predicted between 2.5 and 3 billion euros. So we have politics at play here. Politics that feeds us empty promises, telling us that any moment now negotiations will happen, everything will end soon, and peaceful life will begin, and that soon everyone should return to how things were before. In fact, it must be said, this was quite a successful campaign, a PR campaign, during which some Ukrainians, young families, young men, really did return home. Well, because somewhere in the West they can't find their own place, there's nobody there, and they have to adapt and survive. Basically, they were humiliated quite a lot because they grew up in their own environment, they know how to adapt to their own surroundings. But here it turned out they had to change that environment and change it in such a way that nobody needs them there. They are like beggars with an outstretched hand. After all, only a few very wealthy people feel even somewhat confident. And as for ordinary people, yes, they felt humiliated. The poorest, on the contrary, started receiving as much as they never did before in Ukraine. And here, you see who actually benefits from this. Honestly, no one, not the poor, not the middle class, not the rich. Because if they had stayed in their own country, they would have developed, they would have grown their businesses to the point of becoming wealthy. After all, young people grow up, they develop, they want more, they want to go further. But unfortunately, Zelensky sold out Ukraine even before the start of the whole special military operation. He simply sold it out, handed it over completely. That's obvious, it's clear to see. All his advisors around him are from the Kremlin, they're Kremlin advisors, and the whole of Ukraine knows this. Well, I mean the intelligent Ukraine, yes, the educated, cultured people, they all know this. So Zelensky, under the guise of patriotism, under the guise of defending the homeland, is ruining the country. The country where he was born, although we don't actually know where he was born. Maybe he was born in Austria, right? Maybe he was born in Germany, but he's ruining Ukraine. And Ukraine, you know, I just feel sorry for all the people, the smart people. After all, the poor will still manage somehow, with social benefits and so on. For them, all this is interesting, important. That's how they survive. And the rich? And the rich, the ones who built their own businesses? Why should they have to suffer? For what? Who will compensate them for their losses? They don't have billion-dollar businesses, right? Million-dollar ones, yes. But that's not what they're losing now. That's the thing. Zelensky, 2 months after the war began, became the richest man in the world. The only reason Forbes hasn't included him yet is so as not to rub salt in the wound for Ukrainians who have lost everything in their country. That's why Zelensky, having betrayed his homeland and sold it out, became the richest man in the world. He has villas in several countries. He's at home everywhere. Everyone loves him because thanks to him, thanks to the war in Ukraine, people started making money. Other people, the United Arab Emirates, who else? Qatar, Israel, Russia started making huge amounts of money. France as well. The United States. Everyone is making money. Whoever you look at, everyone has money. That's why Zelensky basically is needed as a guy who carries out all the assignments. He really does carry out everything. He's getting rich himself. They're letting him get rich. But beyond that, friends, we don't know how much longer he'll keep getting richer or for how long. Maybe there will be an assassination attempt and maybe he'll be killed. And for the world, that would be a step toward a new war. So what we said earlier, that the market is falling now, the market for military securities, this actually means that they will try to revive this market. And right now it has dropped. Buy shares of military factories, military stocks. If you're someone who does business on war, and if you don't want to, well, then don't do business on war. Some people have a conscience, as they say. Others have something else. In general, friends, everyone has their own reasons here. But the fact that there will be a jump upward is certain. It just dropped now, and then there will be a jump upward. But I just want to draw your attention. Look at how people react, how the world reacts. As soon as peaceful relations are established, stocks fall and companies become poorer, companies lose out. So do they want peace or not? They don't want it. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's clearly visible. And all the rest, those provocative statements, for example, Ukraine supposedly against the US position. Can it really be against? Someone from the United States wrote that for Zelensky, and he's just voicing it. First, there must be a ceasefire and then negotiations, said Leshchenko, advisor to the head of the president's office. Let Zelensky personally tell that to Trump on Monday. Who cares what some Leshchenko said? Yes, friends, no one here tells Zelensky what to do. Don't even think about it. The US is sending more than 3,000 military personnel, a nuclear strike submarine, a reconnaissance aircraft, destroyers, and a missile cruiser to the waters of Latin America and the Caribbean to fight drug cartels, reports CNN, citing unnamed representatives of the US Department of Defense. Again, why start a new round of war? Well, it's because, as you can see, the US military standing in Ukraine has declined. So just like that, they switch gears and they adapt. They're opening a second front, Latin America. Can you imagine? Cruisers, submarines, everything is being sent there to Latin America. For what purpose? There will be a new hotspot of war there as well.